Ooh, gun control activists are scared about this one, and that makes my day. So let's talk about what's going on. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what has gun control activists so scared and why this is so important. And that's going to be the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association case, which is currently sitting in front of the Supreme Court, where oral arguments are going to be starting in just a few months. This particular case, which has to do with carry, will affect the entire country, but more importantly, current states that aren't really handing out permits, only handing out carry permits to people that are special or show some type of extreme cause where they're being threatened at this very time, at this very moment, and they have proof of it. But typically what happens is it goes out to special people and, regular people like us, no permit for you. No safety for you, only for the people that we like. Now, obviously, this is a New York specific law. It originated in New York, it went through the court system, it went to the circuit court, but now it's sitting at the Supreme Court. So if the Supreme Court rules in our favor here, we're going to see implications across the country that go directly against exactly what gun control activists are trying to do. And that is why they're scared. This one right here could change the game. It could change the playing field altogether. Think about people in California. For instance, in Ventura County in California, I say counties because each county sheriff determines who can get a permit and who doesn't and what their permit process is. So for instance, in Ventura County, somebody might be able to get a permit, just an average Joe. But in LA County, they're so restrictive that it's typically just judges and retired law enforcement officers that are getting these permits, and it's really tough to get a permit in LA County. Virtually no regular average Joe like you and I would be able to get a permit in LA County. Trust me, I tried. It's pretty much impossible unless you show that there is some absolute great need for it, and here's my proof as to why, and this is what's going on. So in California, if the Supreme Court goes through, it's going to change everything there. Obviously, it's going to change California, or New York, and it's going to satisfy those people who brought the lawsuit to begin with, and people will actually have justice in New York. But again, because it's at the Supreme Court, we could see justice for those people who've been trying to get justice on their own for a long time now. And so again, this all revolves around carry and who can get a permit and why. And the Supreme Court might clarify that and say that states are not allowed to regulate who gets a permit based off of these factors alone. And so if you say you have to show good cause, for instance, and that good cause has to be backed up by proof and evidence that you're in danger at this very moment, it could wipe that completely off the board. Meaning that people like you and I would be able to get a permit in LA County without having to show anything like that. Maybe they'll have some type of simple criteria that says if you're a law-abiding citizen who hasn't been charged with a felony or a crime that would basically not allow you to own one in the first place, then obviously you wouldn't be able to carry one. But if those factors haven't been met and you're good legal standing, then that would be the only criteria that the state would need in order to give somebody a permit. We could see something like that. We obviously don't know which side they're going to rule on, but it looks pretty good. We got over 170 House of Representative members who have signed on to an amicus brief to the court, which is great. We know that some congressmen and women on the other side have also penned a letter to the Supreme Court asking them for a favorable gun control decision on their side. So we know that both the right and the left are pushing for this, and I know that people are pushing for it, as well as Mom's Demand in every town, and all those people are pushing to have to have it fall on their side. Now, I really like the Guns and Gadgets channel. I think Jared does a great job over there. He has excellent videos, but he said something in one of his recent videos that really caught my attention. I thought it was eye-opening, and it really did make me think a lot. So I think it's worth reiterating because he made such a great point, and that is that the case originated, obviously, in New York. Now, we went to the appellate court. The appellate court sided with New York, not the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association. Then it went up to the circuit court, who also agreed with New York. Now, knowing that the lower courts have already looked at this and sided with New York, the Supreme Court simply could have kicked it right back down to the lower courts, and that would have been that. They wouldn't have had, anything to talk about. It just would have been another one that was kicked back down to the lower courts. But the Supreme Court looked at the previous decisions from those courts and decided to take it anyway, which is a good sign for us because obviously they see an issue, they see a problem, they see something that they don't like in the decision from the lower courts, and they've decided to look at it themselves, meaning that their point of view is different from the lower courts. And if it's different from the lower courts, which sided for New York, then we could see a favorable outcome on our side here, and that again has gun control activists completely taken off guard, and they're nervous about this one because it would be a game changer for us, and it would also be a game changer for them. It would be a huge setback for them, and it'd be a huge step forward for us. So again, this case is sitting in front of the Supreme Court right now. The New York State Rifle and Pistol Association is honestly one of the biggest cases that we've seen go before the court in a long time. We know that the Supreme Court has not been hearing Second Amendment cases at all. As a matter of fact, they kicked down whole swaths of Second Amendment cases back down to the lower courts. But this one they decided to hear. And again, this has to do with people's safety and keeping themselves and their families safe while they're outside of their home. That's the big thing here, is outside of the home. What is considered okay by the Supreme Court? We all know what is constitutional and what's not. We can see it because we just read the Constitution and it says we have the right to keep and bear arms. But for some reason, other people seem to be confused, so the Supreme Court's going to look at it and hopefully they'll clarify it, again, like I said earlier, in our favor, on the side of freedom. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit since those oral arguments are going to be starting soon. A few months is going to go by really fast. But I want to thank you all very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and have a great day.